Good morning, colleagues. I'm doing something unusual today. I'm wearing a necktie. I should thank Ms. Martinez for it. It was actually her Christmas gift to me. I'm wearing one today because today for me is a very special occasion, because we are saluting a giant who has served my district, a giant who has served Los Angeles, and a giant who has made Los Angeles a better place. It's considerably difficult to talk about Henry Waxman without sounding like you're slipping into hyperbole, because just the simple facts are so impressive that it sounds like exaggeration. It sounds like exaggeration if you talk factually and simply about the indelible, the undeniable, and the monumental impact that Henry Waxman has had on all of our lives. He has been one of the most important and influential members of Congress in our lifetimes, and particularly gratifying for me, he has been one of the most important and influential progressives in the history of the United States Congress. Make no mistake, because of Henry Waxman and his work in the United States Congress, the air we breathe and the water we drink and the lives we lead are better, directly because of the legislation that he has pushed and shepherded. He has stood up consistently for universal health insurance, for comprehensive Medicare and Medicaid coverage, for tobacco regulation, AIDS research and treatment, air and water quality standards, pesticide regulations, nursing home quality standards, women's health research, reproductive rights, affordable prescription drugs, and a community's right to know about pollution levels. There has not been a more fierce advocate for the things that matter to our quality of lives and to what matters to neighborhoods in Los Angeles than Henry Waxman. You could not, thank you. I haven't looked at his Wikipedia page in a while, but just the section on the bills he's gotten passed alone probably takes up incredible bandwidth. The Infant Formula Act of 1980, the Orphan Drug Act of 1983, the Drug Price Competition and Patent Term Restoration Act of 1984, the Clean Air Act of 1990, the Ryan White Care Act of 1990, the Food Quality Protection Act of 1996, the State Children's Health Insurance Program of 1997, the Postal Accountability and Enhancement Act of 2006, the Family Smoking Prevention and Tobacco Control Act of 2009, and the Patient Protection and Affordable Care Act of 2010, which some of us have heard of as Obamacare. It's easy to give a list of what someone has done, but let me put it in slightly more human terms. Let me go back in time to in Henry's first few years in Congress. Let's go back in time to 1991, when a generation of my community began to die. Men in cities like Los Angeles and San Francisco and New York were appearing with lesions on their skin, were going blind, were suffering from horrific diseases that the human population had never seen before. And nobody was paying any attention. Nobody was paying any attention because back then we were faggots and we were outcasts. Nobody was paying attention because the other victims were prostitutes and were drug users. And nobody cared, except for a few voices. It took 4 or 5 years for the President of the United States to even say the word AIDS. But in 1991, before the term AIDS had been coined, Henry Waxman was holding hearings in Washington, D.C. because he had a position of power and influence. He saw a problem, and he seized an opportunity to try to do something about it. At a time when people were calling for quarantines, Henry was calling for public education. At a time when some people were trying to ban condoms, Henry was calling for more biomedical research. At a time when some people were trying to ban safe-sex comic books, Henry was fighting for more research and trying to save lives. It was an act of uncommon courage. It was an act of incredible foresight. And what's remarkable is if you look at the arc of Henry's career in Congress, it wasn't at all uncommon or uncharacteristic. We are so blessed and so fortunate to have someone who stood up and who cared about everyone and who has made lives better across this city, across this country. Thank you so much, Henry Waxman. We're all indebted to you. And here is an official proclamation on behalf of the City of Los Angeles. The print is extremely tiny because they had to put in some of your greatest hits, and that's quite a bit. And it's signed by every member of this council, the Mayor of Los Angeles, City Attorney, City Controller, thanking you and officially naming today Henry Waxman Day in the City of Los Angeles.